Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 343. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey.
This week on the show, we'll finally be talking about Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. We'll also be talking about some of what we're watching on the watch list, going over this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember to please consider reviewing us on iTunes. If you get a chance, that would be incredible. A couple housekeeping bits here. I didn't think it was going to happen, but we actually did publish 4 podcasts last week.
That's it.
Yeah, so we had both parts 1 and 2 of our Halloween special, where we talked about 90s Japanese horror movies. So you can check that out. Part 1 is on the regular weekly feed. Part 2 is on the Saved by the 90s feed. That was our October episode of Saved by the 90s. Had a lot of fun with that. We had a regular episode that dropped on Wednesday, and we had a new Halloween edition of Ryan Watches a Movie that came out on Thursday as well. So yeah, check all of that stuff out. I'm working on a new video review for a video game that should be up, I'm hoping, by the end of this week. Although we'll see. I'm about 1,500 words into the script, and I'm starting to formulate it. I played through the game. I got all the footage, but since for listeners, I'll give you a little tidbit as to what I'm working on. It's the 1996 game Bad Mojo. Do you remember this game, or have you never heard of it? It's a game where you play a roach. You play a guy who gets turned into a cockroach, and you have to figure out what's going on and get out of the situation. And it's maybe one of the grossest games ever made. It uses a combination of pre-rendered CG and digitized photos. So everything looks very real. I mean, because literally a lot of it is photographs. So, and the whole game takes place in this really disgusting, dilapidated apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
It holds up. I'll say that it holds up. It's still very, very skin crawling. It's based on it's inspired by the Franz Kafka novella, The Metamorphosis.
Okay.
Yeah, great game, and I should have that video out. I'm hoping by the end of the week. I have off on Tuesday for Election Day, so hoping to crank out.
You're off for Election Day.
Yeah. Everyone should have off for Election Day.
They should.
Because truthfully, if I had to work on Election Day, I might not vote. It might be one of those deals where it's just it's a hassle.
Yeah, that's what they want.
But now, since I don't have to go into work, I'm guaranteed to go cast my vote. As should everyone listening. It's very important to vote.
Get your vote on.
Get your vote. Rock the vote. Do they still do that?
Oh, geez.
Do they still rock the vote?
Do. I think they brought it back.
Rock the vote.
God, I remember that shit. Oh, God. That shit is insufferable doing that.
I remember. Parasite. This is directed by Bong Joon-ho. I have a synopsis here. All unemployed Kitak's family takes peculiar interest in the wealthy and glamorous parks for their livelihood until they get entangled in an unexpected incident. Now, we both saw this quite a while ago, but the week that it came out, I think we didn't do an episode. We didn't do a show or something. So we missed it when it first came out. And then I really wasn't planning on coming back to it because usually we try to do stuff that comes out that week. But this is such a major release. And we didn't even talk about it at all in the watch list or anything. We made no mention of this movie at all on the show. And I feel like we should, because I don't want to bury the lead here, but this is my number one movie of the year, hands down.
Well, it's interesting too, though, considering when we watched this, because I think we watched this in preparation of doing the show.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I saw it. I think I saw it before you, and I don't know. I don't remember how it all played out.
Either way. I think we watched, or I watched it at least in preparation for a show. That show fell through. But it's weird considering that this movie, for me and much of America, actually came out this past weekend.
Oh, did it?
All this week has been nothing but radio ads, which is kind of bizarre to me to hear, radio ads for Parasite. And then even more surprising, it actually showed up in movie theaters around here, which is insane.
Wow. I know that the original limited release was on October 11th, and it was sold out everywhere here in New York. Like every screening, every time that they would announce new screenings for it, it just sold out immediately, which I love to see that. I think that that's really awesome, and I think that it says a lot of good things about this movie, and I like that that a movie like this is getting traction here in the States.
Yeah, and I mean, especially considering that it's playing here. It made it to theaters here.
Yeah, I mean, that's saying something.
That's insane to me.
That releasing this weekend, Arctic Dogs and Parasite.
Parasite and Arctic Dogs, man. Kidding me?
We do have a written review up for this on the site. Chris reviewed it. It was screening at TIFF, and he saw it at TIFF, and he gave it a 10 out of 10. Now, Kevin, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What did you think of Parasite?
I did enjoy it. I wouldn't go 10 out of 10. I'm not going that high. But this is the best thing about this movie for me is that I pretty much went in. I had no idea. I had no idea what the hell this movie was about. And there's it's entertaining enough without like the bizarre twist, that twisty that happens, the unexpected incident, I think is what the synopsis refers to it as. And I did not see that coming.
Nor did I. Nor did I. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
I hope not.
I think if you say that you saw that twist coming, you're a fucking liar.
Well, yeah, either that or you got some fucked up problems. The movie starts off and be like, oh, I know what's going on here.
This is so obvious.
Obviously.
It's just like my life.
I've heard of this happening. This is very prevalent in Korea. So yeah, it catches you off guard, and even before that happens, it's pretty insane. This unemployed family has their own little. Each one has their own little skill that they deploy and utilize in order to kind of latch on to this wealthy family, and start making some money. So that in and of itself is like, that's a good movie right there. And then you throw in that unexpected incident that just throws everything into chaos. And then everything gets out of hand.
Every beat of this movie, I was just so on board from the first moments. I thought that everything was just so immaculately presented. And you're right. It is the general concept where you have this poor family who is gradually inserting themselves into the lives of this wealthy family. That's enough. That's enough to push this movie. But again, as you said, when the unexpected incident occurs, you're just like, whoa, like what? This just took it up to 11. And you have to see it. You just have to see this movie. I knew a little bit about it going in. I did know that there was something about like a family inserting themselves into this other family. Yeah. That's really all I knew. I didn't know about I didn't know most of the broad strokes of it. So a lot of it was a surprise to me. And I think even knowing what the general plot, like what I read, the synopsis, even knowing that, I think is fine, because there's enough surprises here, and the way in which they use their social engineering abilities to weasel their way into this family where, each, it starts off with the son, and then he gets his sister in, and then the dad, and then the mom, and just how they go about doing that, I think is fascinating on its own.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, that's enough there. That's entertaining enough. Like that's a whole movie. And then they just like after the mom gets in, they're just like, well, let's throw in this other movie too. Throw in this whole new plot. Shake things up a little bit.
Now, we've seen actually quite a few movies coming out recently that discuss the disparity in class structure. And this is another one that takes a very pointed look at the differences between, upper and lower class. How do you think this fares against some of those other movies that have been coming out recently that tackle the same subject?
I think this one is a far more entertaining take on the idea or the issue, the problem. This is a black comedy. It's over the top. It's ridiculous. I don't think of it as like necessarily like a serious look. Like it has some bits and pieces there, here and there, But overall, this is like a kind of ridiculous entertainment film in my eyes. Because it felt a lot like to me, something that we just watched not too recently, Microhabitat, which was the same issue just presented and explored vastly different.
Microhabitat was a little bit more realistic in its.
Yeah, and it's like but it's like the exact opposite where she's someone that just says, yeah, you know what, I need these two things and fuck everything else.
Yeah.
Whereas this family's like, okay, we need to do everything that we can possibly do in order to try and get out of our situation.
The thing that I found really endearing about this is, as you said at the beginning, they all have their own skill, and it's not like they're completely scamming these people. Like they do the work. Like the mom does the cleaning and the cooking. The dad is like actually an excellent driver, and he does really good work. And the son and the daughter, they also do excellent work with their chosen profession in this family. So that's kind of the funny thing is like they're actually really good at their jobs, but they just needed that break. They needed someone to give them a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the one thing that I think this movie shows in terms of the wealthy. In order, to get jobs for the wealthy, like you just have to know someone.
Oh yeah,
they just get to pick. They have a pool of people, and they'll pick someone, and that person's lucky, and they have a job.
Yeah, I mean it's very similar how employment works. Like in New York, it's all about who you know. Like when I first moved to the city, I had a job, but I got laid off. Like after I was living here for a couple months and I got laid off, and I had a really hard time finding a job, and I ended up getting this sort of entry level position. I got lucky and got hired, but through that I made connections and was able to get subsequent jobs after that. And now I'm in a good position in a good place. And that was just through luck. Like I just happened to know people and get that opportunity. And I think that happens far too often in society.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing in this movie it shows is like how precarious the situation is that you're not even really aware of. Like this is just all based on their whims, where it's like, you know what? Like I don't kind of like the smell. You just might lose your job because he doesn't like the way you smell.
Yeah.
You might be fantastic at your job. You do everything fucking great, but there's just this little fucking quirk that he can't stand. You don't know about. He's not going to tell you about it. He's just going to let you go.
Yeah. Yep. Going back to the comedy that you mentioned, I would consider this to be a dark comedy. It's incredibly funny, I thought. The family dynamic that is on display here is wonderful. It is. They feel like a real family where they're always, giving each other shit and they're constantly making fun of each other, but there you also feel the love they have for one another there too. That's very palpable. And I just, I think that just is a compliment to the wonderful script and also the performances, which to me, every single one was just a home run.
Yeah, everyone's perfect.
The Song Kang-ho is so good. I know that he'll never win an Oscar because he's not doing much English language stuff, but give this guy an Oscar. He is so incredible in everything that he's in. It's to the point now, and I hardly ever do this with actors. I'll do it with directors, but it's to the point now where if I hear about a movie that he's in, I'll see that movie.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing about him, is that like his presence alone is very, very welcoming. You know, as soon as he pops up on screen, you're just like, oh yes, thank you for showing up. This is gonna be a good time. And I mean, like, has he ever disappointed?
No, never. I think maybe the first time we saw him was Joint Security Area.
That would be my guess.
I think that was the first time, because he was in Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw Joint Security Area first.
I think so too.
I do want to see him in 2002's YMCA baseball team. It's about the history of baseball in Korea in the age of Japanese forced occupation.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
He's probably fantastic in it. I bet you any money.
The dude's incredible in everything. He's just, every role he's in, he just crushes it. He's just such an inherently likable person. Obviously, this is going to be nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars. Mm-hmm. That I am sure of. That I am 100% sure of. But do you think this has potential to, now maybe nominated, but do you think it has potential to win Best Picture?
The overall Best Picture?
Yes.
The one that Green Book got last year?
Yes.
That's
yes.
the word you're talking about?
But if you remember, Roma was nominated last year. Or I guess it was this year.
Sorry, but are you asking me a nomination or a win?
I'm saying, does it have potential for a win?
No.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, I agree with you there. But to me,
again, you're talking about the prize that Green Book got, right?
I am.
Yes. Thank you.
I think it's a shoo-in for Best Foreign Language Film. I think it'll probably be nominated for Best Picture, but it obviously won't win. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what would beat it. We still have a few big movies.
There's going to be some bullshit movie that comes out in the next couple of weeks. It's just absolute garbage. And that's the one that's probably going to win.
Unfortunately, I think you're probably right on the money there. Any final thoughts about Parasite?
Yeah, you shouldn't have been listening to us at all. And you should have just watched it without knowing anything.
I think that
it's really fun going in that way.
Yeah, but I think that we kept things vague enough that there's still plenty of surprises to be had.
Oh yeah. No, there definitely is. But man, when that unexpected incident pops up.
Yeah. That was it was shocking. It was a shocking moment. One that I'm very pleased to say it existed, and the way that it ends too is almost bittersweet in how it ended, because I feel like the ending was almost as shocking as the unexpected incident.
Yeah, I thought the ending was definitely a bummer. Definitely ends on a down note.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's give this a score. Kevin, what are you going to give Parasite?
I'm like a 8.5.
It's a 9.5 for me.
Oh boy.
Yep.
What keeps it from being a 10, huh?
I don't really know, actually.
You're just holding off. You just don't want to commit.
A 10, yeah. I mean, I gave it 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so it may be a 10.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. I wanted to mention the production design on this.
The house.
Oh my God, that house. Oh my good God, that house.
Yeah.
Incredible. And of course, it's the way that it's shot is completely stunning as well. Ha Jun Lee did the production design and designed the set of that house, and it is just incredible. I want that house.
Well, you're not going to get it.
I know. I told my wife, I said, I'd be willing to move out of the city if you can get me that house. If we can move somewhere. I was like, you know, it doesn't even matter where. I was like, where we can move wherever, as long as it's that house, that exact house. Not something that's like a similar, but that exact house.
You gotta come out like here somewhere and buy land and then just build it.
Yeah. I think that
I
might.
think that's the only way that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but a house like that probably would cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
All right, that is Parasite. That's playing limited release right now, or actually, I guess it's wide release now if it's playing in Elizabethtown.
Are you kidding me? Right alongside Arctic Dogs.
Absolutely, it is a must see. So go see it. Go see it right now. All right, let's talk about someone we're watching on the watch list. Kevin, I believe it is your turn this week. What do you got going on?
Well, I finally got around to watching part 2 of The Bread Factory.
Oh, it's like a month later.
Yeah, just before it left movie. Well, the difficult thing is this presented itself in October, which trying to get my wife to watch anything that's not a horror movie in October is pretty much impossible. It's got to be a horror movie, and you'll see that it has to be a horror movie because I'll talk about another thing that, oh boy. But so finished Bread Factory Part 2. Part 2 is I didn't enjoy it as much as Part 1. I mean, it's still a fantastic movie. It's still very impressive in size and scope. Like, it's just kind of unbelievable that Patrick Wang is able to not only build this like whole community within this movie, but it feels like he pretty much created an entire town because of the large cast of characters. And some people show up, you know, they might only be in one scene. You have no idea if people are going to come back again. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You know, people just come in and out of the movie throughout. It's pretty fantastic. The only problem that I have with a Bread Factory Part 2, which is just 100% personal taste, is that it had a lot more stuff that I'm not a fan of, that I can't get into. People singing their lines just for no reason. Like it's a thing. I get it, but me personally, I don't like it, and I just wanted them to stop doing that, and they wouldn't. And then there's also like 2 or 3 scenes, because there's like these tech people that come in too, and they're always on their phones. So the way they show them on their phones is they tap dance, and I think tap dancing is like my least favorite thing in the world.
I'm not a big fan
anytime
either.
that happens, I hate tap dancing. I don't understand it. It just irritates me. It angers me, really. I don't get why you're doing that with your feet, and why someone would want to do that and want to hear it. It just makes no sense to me. So there's a couple of things like that. Now, again, that's just absolute personal taste. I just hate tap dancing. You know, what are you going to do? But God, do I hate tap dancing. Fucking hate it.
That is the Bread Factory Part 2.
And that's it. That I hate it so much that I get hung up on that, which honestly, this movie's 2 hours long. There's maybe 3 minutes of tap dancing, maybe. But man, I fucking hate tap dancing.
Learn something new about you every day.
I think that we've talked about this before.
Probably.
I fucking hate it. Fucking hate it.
All right. One that I forgot to mention last week because I forgot to log it, but I wanted to mention it, is Dobermann. This is directed by Jan Kunen. This is it's a French film that came out in 1997, and it stars Vincent Cassel and Monica Bellucci. Wow. This movie is absolutely nutso. It is insane. It's like, reminds me of like one of the Crank movies or something like that, where it's just so, it takes place in a post Tarantino post Pulp Fiction world where everything is just cranked up to insane levels. And Vincent Cassel plays this guy named Doberman, who he's like a bank robber. He's like a robber type guy. And they rob this bank, and they end up getting hunted down by this police officer who is this crazy, sadistic killer cop. And that's pretty much it. It's like sort of a cat and mouse thing, but the action is so over the top and ridiculous. Like, he has this crazy gun that like shoots these explosive bullets that he like writes phrases on and stuff, and it's just so over the top and out of control. I never even heard of it before. Someone mentioned it, and I can't remember. Apologies, I can't remember who mentioned it on Twitter. But after I read that tweet, I was like, oh, I'm gonna look into this movie, and I sought it out, and man, it is nuts. You should check out Doberman.
I do want to see this.
Completely
ridiculous.
It is completely bonkers, and it just Vincent Cassel just hamming it up. Monica Bellucci plays his girlfriend, and she's deaf, and that actually lends itself to a pretty interesting scene. There's this shootout that occurs in a nightclub, and it will periodically switch to like not her POV, but like it'll cut off the sound so we can like experience it the same way that she is, where you're in this crowded nightclub, there's shootouts, there's people screaming, there's all this chaos, and she just hears nothing. So it's, yeah, definitely check out Doberman.
I watched a horror movie called Terrifier.
Oh yeah,
from 2016.
I never saw this, but I am familiar with it.
Yeah, it's the clown. His name's Art the clown, and he just mutilates a bunch of people. And like, his character design is great. He's a really creepy looking dude. He's very gaunt. He's got a very long face. But the makeup work is fantastic. He's much like the Joker in that he finds crime and murder to be funny, but he never talks, he never speaks, so he just mimes everything. All right. But the disappointing thing about this movie is that he's kind of like stalking these women, and they end up getting cornered in, it's like an apartment complex, I think, or maybe an office building of some sort, where the building is getting bombed, for I think rats. So they end up getting trapped in like the basement area of this apartment complex, which just looks like the most ridiculous basement that there is. Like the size of this basement is pure insanity. I mean, there's like 20 cars in there for some reason. I don't know how that's possible, but there's just all these rooms, and there's just opportunities for him to murder people because there's like a homeless woman that lives in there. So what it ends up becoming is they get trapped in this very bland environment setting, and he pretty much, it just turns into like torture porn. And it was really disappointing and just really fucking dumb. And none of it made sense, because apparently also he can't die. I don't know why. They don't tell you, but he can't. That's a thing. Like, they have like this built-in myth for him that, I don't know, it felt like I was missing something. Like, I don't know if there's more of a history for Art the Clown, but it is just kind of the way everything's presented is like, yeah, you should know about Art the Clown. You should know about his entire mythology. But I've never heard of Art the Clown.
That's Terrifier. I take it that's on Netflix.
Yeah, and it's just, it's long. Even, it's only 84 minutes, okay? Which, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's not that long, Kevin. You don't understand time. But the real feel of watching this movie is closer to like 2.5 hours. I don't know how that works. I don't know if that's part of Art the Clown's mythology as well, the power that he holds and wields. Elongates
time.
Maybe. I don't know. But the only good thing about it, I will say, before I finish, is that all the effects work are practical. And they're pretty damn impressive. I mean, there's like a bunch of beheadings. Someone gets sawed in half. It's pretty impressive stuff.
I feel like you need to start not going to Netflix for horror movies, because their horror movie selection is abysmal.
I'm not picking them. I'm just along for the ride. All right.
Gotta get you hooked up with Shudder and start picking some from. There's bad ones on Shudder too, to be clear. But all right, I saw The Nightingale. This is directed by Jennifer Kent.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is on Hulu. Yeah, came out
Oh,
on.
for real?
Yeah,
What?
I texted you and I said The Nightingale's on
Oh,
Hulu.
I think see, I told you I don't retain information well.
It's on VOD and Hulu right now.
Okay.
It takes place in 1825 in Tasmania, and it involves a young woman, a 21-year-old Irish woman who is a convict, and she has a husband, she has a baby, and she's under the control of British soldiers. Even though she served her time, she's trying to get them to free her. They refuse to free her. And
Hmm.
something absolutely horrific happens to her, and it sets her down a path of revenge. She hires an Aboriginal man to accompany her, and the bulk of the movie is her hunting down these British soldiers who did this really awful thing to her. This is a really, really heavy movie. It's difficult to watch at times. I think I read some stuff about, people saying that it's pretty heavy, but I've seen a lot of movies that contain difficult subject matter, and I didn't think that it would really affect me too much. I mean, I expected it to bother me and make me uncomfortable, but it's so brutal what happens, and it's really hard to watch. And I understand why Jennifer Kent did it. I also understand that like a lot of people had problems with this movie, even though apparently she went to the like native councils there and got approval for everything and made sure that everything was presented in a respectful way. A lot of people had issues with how she portrayed the indigenous people of Tasmania, because it's, in a lot of ways, it's a story about this, young white woman, and there's a lot of really horrible things that happen to indigenous people in this movie as at the service of, this white woman's story. And so I can understand the issue that people might take with it from that angle. That being said, it's still a really powerful movie. I wouldn't go as far to say that it's a genre film, but it definitely takes inspiration from a lot of genre pictures. Certainly, Jennifer Kent seems to like to play within genre territory. It's very violent. There's a lot of really horrific things that happen to people in this movie. I will recommend it, but just understand going into it that there are some moments that happen during this that I think could easily offend or trigger a lot of people.
So I watched a documentary that has not come out yet. This is still playing festivals, I guess, but it's called "Those That at a Distance Resemble Another." This is directed by Jessica Sarah Renlund, and this is for people that enjoy anything that involves like museums, conservation work, that type of thing, because that's all this movie is. It's 67 minutes, pretty short doc. The camera is just up close. Pretty much all you see is hands working on whatever they're working on. You don't get a whole lot of information. It's just a ton of different conservation type jobs. So they have like the main thing is they're building like a replica of an elephant tusk. So you'll just, and there's no talking head. They don't go into depth. They don't give you play-by-play of what they're doing, what stage they're at, any of those things. It's just the hands doing the job, working on it. And you might hear some discussion, whoever the person is and whoever's in the room with them. But mostly it's just the camera up close on whatever it is that you're doing. And cut in with that is at the beginning, there's this it's just a very short explanation of two howler monkeys that were kind of like released back into the wild. So the sounds of the jungle and these howler monkeys is like playing throughout. And for whatever reason, and again, this is probably just a matter of personal taste because these are a lot of things that are like in my wheelhouse, just stuff that I really enjoy and love. It was a very, very peaceful viewing experience. You just kind of get sucked in to just seeing, they're cleaning bones, they're measuring pottery, ancient artifacts, all that type of stuff. A bunch of those types of things is what's happening here. And that's to me, it's just always been endlessly fascinating. So just seeing that unfold and then in such a calming presentation it was pretty fantastic. I enjoyed it.
I'm actually kind of interested in this too.
And it's one of those things where I'm just like, it's also a lot of like jealousy, like mounting. Because I'm just like, I want that fucking job.
Yeah.
And the worst part is here is like, they're showing you what they're doing, and it's all stuff that it's like, I could do that. I can do that. Like you made a 3D render and then you're vacuuming up everything that's not used. I can do that. I know how to work a vacuum. Shop vac. I've done that. And like when they're cleaning bones, they just have like cut up sponges and then some like tacky, like putty type stuff, and they're just rubbing the bones with it. And it's like, I can do that. Hire me. I'll clean all the bones. Rub bones all day. Please, I would love to. Honestly.
That type of work is something that I also enjoy. Just a lot of people find something like that to be tedious, but I actually
the more
that.
tedious, the better. That's the thing. For me, it's like the more tedious, the better. And especially if it's cleaning, because I don't know, there's something oddly very satisfying.
Oh yeah.
And you can see that something is dirty, and then you cleaned it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. Like, exactly what you did.
Yeah, there's like those videos on the internet and stuff with like satisfying like videos there's like a whole subreddit for like satisfying videos, and a lot of them are like videos of people power washing sidewalks and stuff.
Well, they even do that. One thing I don't know what it is. I think it might be an elephant tusk, but they're using like a laser to like get off like all the black buildup on this tusk. And it's like really, really in close, so you can see the laser like hit, and it kind of like burns it off. So you just see like all these little circles, and they're just doing this thing, just cleaning off all this black, and you're just like, I like this.
Nice. And that's those that at a distance resemble another.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the latest in the Hulu Into the Dark series, which is called Pilgrim. This is their Thanksgiving one. It's directed by Marcus Dunstan. And, I liked the last 2 or 3. Actually, I liked the last, I think 4 Into the Dark movies. And so I was thinking they're on a roll here. I'm pretty excited about this one because it starts off really good. The basic premise is that there's this family. They're all kind of in their own worlds. They're constantly connected to their phones and their tablets and all of this stuff, and they're not really connecting with each other. And the mom decides that she's going to hire this company to send over reenactors so that they can have like this traditional Thanksgiving where there's no technology or anything like that, and you have these actors who are in the Pilgrim outfits, and they are in character the whole time. But guess what? The Pilgrims that come over are killers, and they try to kill them.
Oh boy.
So like I said, it starts off pretty interesting, but it really devolves. Like it really sort of slowly falls apart, and by the end I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm completely disconnected from this now. The weird thing about this is that it's really tonally scattershot. Like it's very serious. It plays like a serious horror movie all the way up until the end when it just goes completely bonkers and off the rails. And then it starts to try to make it almost like a comedy of sorts. It actually sort of reminded me of Ready or Not, where it's like that sort of action horror comedy. And it just doesn't really work at all because of the previous hour that we spent with it, where it was this sort of almost psychological horror movie where that you know that there's something really off about these people and you're not quite sure what it is, but they're slowly like ingratiating themselves into this family, and they're like building this weird shed in the backyard, and it all feels very creepy. And then all of a sudden it's just like this really gory splatterfest that's not taken seriously at all. And it just overall left me feeling a bit meh. I mean, there's not that many Thanksgiving themed horror movies out there. And while I think that this one starts off, I mean, it certainly nails the theme. It is very much themed around Thanksgiving, but the characters are all pretty unlikable. They're all really one-dimensional, really stereotypical characters. And I was just left feeling a bit disappointed with Pilgrim on Hulu.
It seems like a lot of, a lot of work, a lot of build up, creating this, and then just throwing it all off the table and just, killing people.
Yeah. Which is, the whole conceit of this group that comes in, these pilgrims. Oh, and at one point, like, they start multiplying. So like the protagonist, who's the daughter in the family, she comes home and there's like 5 of them in her house. So like more and more pilgrims start showing up at her house. So it's pretty cool, but then like it just kind of falls off the rails.
That's all I got, by the way. That's all my movies.
All right.
I didn't watch that many movies.
I guess I'll mention The Laundromat. This is the new Steven Soderbergh one. It's on Netflix. And it's like this one, I feel like nobody was talking about this at all.
No, it seems like it just came and went.
Yeah, came and went. I decided to give it a look. And for the first like 20, 30 minutes, I'm just like, why is nobody talking about this? This is pretty solid. This is a pretty solid movie. I'm really into this. It's got a huge cast. Huge. Like so many people that I don't even want to list them all here. I mean, Meryl Streep is the lead, and then what happens is it sort of takes a turn, and I was sort of left a little bit befuddled as to what was going on and how this movie was structured. It's really strange. This is just like Soderbergh just throwing everything out there. Like he's just doing whatever. There's no rules in this movie. They're breaking the fourth wall. Like half the movie goes by and it's one thing, and then they completely switch, and it's like it turns out that the movie's like told in vignettes almost, where they drop like Meryl Streep. It follows Meryl Streep for a long time, then they just drop her, and it's following this other family, and it's all like a bit jarring. It's a very, very messy movie. I still found myself entertained by it overall, but it just maybe it would have worked better as like a series, like a mini series or something. But as is, it just didn't quite work. And then they do this thing at the end where Meryl Streep breaks character, and like I sort of understand what he was going for with that, but that didn't work for me either. Like that just felt a little bit too heavy-handed. Especially when you have someone like Meryl Streep, who is probably a very, very wealthy woman who's talking about, these giant corporations that are avoiding paying taxes and all of this stuff. And yes, it was entertaining, but boy, was it a messy endeavor.
I guess that's why no one's really talking about it.
I think so. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Got Marriage Story. I believe this is going to be in theaters and on Netflix. I think this is coming to Netflix. Also, this is the Noah Baumbach one. All right, what do you think about this?
No, thank you.
You know, I had the
It is.
opportunity. I had the opportunity to see this at the New York Film Festival, and I opted not to. It looks so heavy, man. It just looks so heavy to me.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that I have no interest in.
It's also 136 minutes, so it's a long
Oh,
one.
see, I didn't even know that. So now that I know that, it's locked in. As
Yeah.
no,
I mean,
no, thank you.
I might give it a look before the end of the year, just to make sure, you know, it wouldn't have ended up on one of my year-end lists, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's for me. One that is for me is Doctor Sleep. Oh, by the way,
Oh,
Marriage Story is in theaters November 6th. I think it's probably also on Netflix that same time.
gotcha.
It's either that or Friday the 8th. Doctor Sleep is one that I'm quite excited for. Very excited for Doctor Sleep. Are you excited for this?
No, I'm not. It looks awful.
Ugh, I 100% disagree. This is written and directed by Mike Flanagan, and I'm a pretty big flanatic.
Oh,
I just coined that
yeah.
term, flanatic.
That's the only thing that makes me slightly interested in this movie, is because of him directing.
It's gotten pretty good reviews so far. So, I mean, I think that the key here is to not go in with the intent on comparing it to The Shining. I think that would be the wrong way to go into this.
Yeah, but they also want you to do that because that's the only way they can sell this movie.
I don't know. I think that if it was something else that Mike Flanagan was working on, they'd be able to sell it. I think I think he's a really great director and he's got some really great ideas. Anyway, I'll definitely be seeing this one. We also have Midway. This is that war movie that doesn't look great.
Oh, that war movie.
Roland Emmerich directed war movie.
Oh yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, not too into that. Jojo Rabbit looks like it's getting a wider release on Friday, so maybe it'll end up in your neighborhood, Kevin.
Do you think?
It might.
Do you think there's a chance? I don't know.
It might.
We'll see.
It's got some star power behind it, so
It's true. But I don't know if it's enough to knock Arctic Dogs out of the theaters around here.
oh God, Arctic Dogs. Oh boy, that looks so bad. We also have Last Christmas. This is the rom-com directed by Paul Feig. Did not know that, with Emilia Clarke.
Yeah. There's a lot of movies coming out with directors.
I know.
You know, like big name directors this weekend.
I've seen a bunch of trailers for this movie, and I had no idea this was directed by Paul Feig. It doesn't make me want to see it anymore. I think it looks really bad, but who knows?
Also written by Emma Thompson.
Yeah, really weird.
I had no idea about this.
And she's in it too, Emma Thompson. Still not interested enough to see it. We also have Honey Boy coming out.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly that will not be playing in your area.
No, not at all. But it still means that I'm one step closer.
It is an Amazon Studios movie, so it will end up on Amazon Prime at some point. I mean, hopefully before the end of the year for you.
I'm hoping. I'm really hoping.
Yeah, really excited to see that finally. We also have Danger Close. That's an action movie. Race Time, which looks to be an animated film. Love is Blind. The tagline for that is "We all have blind spots."
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for theaters. VOD this week. On the 5th, we have The Wrong Todd coming out.
What?
The Wrong Todd.
Oh, I gotta look this up. You need to sit down and watch this with your dad.
Yeah, it involves it's like a sci-fi comedy. Involves an evil twin from a parallel universe.
Oh boy.
Could lend itself to some humorous moments. It almost sounds like that Netflix show, the one with Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
which I watched the first 2 episodes of, but never finished
Is it
it.
any good?
I don't know. It wasn't very funny. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny or what, but it didn't quite hook me. I mean, I might still go back and finish it. I just had other things going on. Ice Blue comes out. Looks like a thriller.
Oh yeah.
It's got a really not a great poster. The truth can be deadly.
Well, it also IMDb says this is from 2017, so that's interesting.
And might have had like a screening at a festival or something early on. We also have Return to Mount Kennedy. This is a documentary. Eminence Hill. This is it's a Western with Lance Hendrickson.
Oh.
Barry Corbin's in there. Dominique Swain. Oh. Then on the 8th, we have Primal starring Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Let's see what this is all about. The Ultimate Hunter versus the Ultimate Predator. Nicolas Cage plays a hunter and collector of rare and exotic animals.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. So he's on a fresh haul of exotic and deadly animals from the Amazon, including a rare white jaguar, along with a political assassin.
Oh boy.
He's extradited to the U.S. in secret.
Oh boy.
The assassin escapes and releases all the captive animals, throwing the ship into chaos. Are you fucking kidding me?
We'll have a review for this up on the site shortly after this episode drops. Amanda wrote a review for us on this one.
This sounds incredible.
Yeah, he's got some. 2020 is going to be a big year for him. He's got some really interesting things coming out in 2020. He's got some crazy stuff coming out in 2020.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, we also have Love is Blind. Coldbrook. Coldbrook is the directorial debut of William Fichtner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it for VOD. On Blu-ray this week, not a lot going on the Blu-ray front. We've got a lot of 4K releases of Disney movies like Moana, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Tangled, Princess and the Frog, probably some other ones in there. We got Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark coming out. I was a little let down with that one, honestly. It was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Hobbs and Shaw is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give that a look. Looks fun. The Art of Racing in the Rain. Arrow is releasing Apprentice to Murder from 1988. Undercover Brother 2 is coming out. Didn't know that existed. And Corporate Animals from earlier this year. And that's... Oh, The Wrong Todd is also coming out on Blu-ray.
Oh, who could forget The Wrong Todd?
That's pretty much it. What about Criterion's?
There's exactly 0.
Criterion. Yeah, thought so. So it's a pretty light week for Blu-ray. They're probably waiting till maybe the Black Friday stuff.
Boy. There you go. Yeah.
We might be getting a big set of releases in the coming weeks. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, consider reviewing us on your podcast platform of choice. We appreciate that very much. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.